All right, thank you all for coming. I think we can just go ahead and get started. Will Bruso, our vice president, will go first.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to start it off. Brother Examiner, these men who have accepted the fellowship we offer now present themselves for admission into our brotherhood. They are ready to receive instruction in the solemn and irrevocable pledges which they are about to take.
It is fitting that you receive instruction in these pledges, so laden with responsibility and fertile in opportunity. They bring to you lifelong relations of friendship and of brotherhood, with duties you will not easily avoid, and with privileges you can receive on no other terms. This fraternity will serve as your college home. Those who dwell here will be your brothers, your counselors, and your protectors. Their influence will help to mold your character and your future. You rightly ask much of a brotherhood to which you give yourselves without impediment or reserve. They rightly ask of you not to surrender yourselves without full realization of the meaning and finality of the pledges you are to take. Before proceeding to such instruction, however, it will first be necessary to make certain preliminary declarations.
Do you, on your honor, declare that you are members of no college fraternity and are pledged to none but this? Do you also, on your honor, declare that you entertain no sentiment toward any member of this chapter that would prevent you from maintaining cordial and brotherly relations with him? If so, unmute your mic and answer "I do" after your name is called. Brett Bernecker.
I do.
Julian Bialos.
I do.
Mike Boba.
I do.
Colton Brinton.
I do.
George Bukait.
I do.
Seamus Carroll Gabola.
I do.
Andrew Crooks.
I do.
Justin DeCassiker.
I do.
Nathan Ellie.
I do.
Alec Feldman. Alec, not here, I guess, at the moment. John Glenn.
I do.
Ben Gramad.
I do.
Jack Gugino.
I do.
Patrick Hang.
I do.
Anthony Hunt.
I do.
Robbie Juraseski.
I do.
Jack Jones.
I do.
John Kilbane.
I do.
Sam Kleeman.
I do.
Andrew Knutson.
I do.
Jacob LaRoche.
I do.
RJ Ledbetter.
I do.
Taft Lewis.
I do.
Mitchell Metikosh.
I do.
Ben Miller.
I do.
David Muth.
I do.
Ryan Papanek.
I do.
Zach Pine.
I do.
Will Roman.
I do.
Danny Sykin.
I do.
Jackson Smith.
I do.
Josh Smith.
I do.
Tyler Smith.
I do.
Jake Selesky.
I do.
John Strozak.
I do.
Kyle Walsh.
I do.
Jude Widener.
I do.
And I think Alec was having technical difficulties, but
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what was going on there.
all right, that's all right. We're happier here now.
You can
Thank
read
you.
him the thing one more time and just get his part.
All right, Alec, do you, on your honor, declare that you are members of no college fraternity and are pledged to none but this? And do you also, on your honor, declare that you entertain no sentiment toward any member of this chapter that would prevent you from maintaining cordial and brotherly relations with him? If so, unmute your mic and answer, I do. Alec Feldman.
I do.
Of those who would enter our fraternity, we ask two things: that they know our ideals and that they pledge themselves to help us realize those ideals. We have instructed you in the history and the principles of our brotherhood. We have told you of the early secret fraternities and of the evil that attended their control of student affairs and of the sentiment hostile to themselves, which they bred. We have explained the origin of the anti-secret societies at Williams, Union, Hamilton, and Amherst, and of the coalition between them, which, in 1847, marked the vigorous advances of Delta Upsilon. As time passed, the character of the secret societies so altered that hostility toward them decreased. Delta Upsilon recognized this happier period by adopting the principle of non-secrecy in place of anti-secrecy. This modification of our ancient attitude must not be misunderstood. It meant no less hatred of evil practices in secret societies. It served to acknowledge the disappearance of those practices and sprang from a logical devotion to our basic principle taught in the motto of our fraternity, Dikaya Upotheki, justice, our foundation. Our first exercise in justice, the protest against the secret societies, served its purpose and is no longer necessary, but the battles of justice are infinite, and her champions are ever needed to serve her cause, both in the college and the world beyond. To forward the ends of enlightened equity demands knowledge and sympathy, the broad mind and the large heart. It is man's work, to be done best by those who have enjoyed the twofold education of intellect and of character. We have therefore formed ourselves into a fraternity in order to advance justice, promote friendship, develop character, maintain and diffuse liberal culture, and to promote intellectual, moral, and social improvement. We have expounded to you our ideals. Because we believe them to be your ideals also, we bring you to your initiation, wherein you must pledge your allegiance to Delta Upsilon. You must promise to be faithful in every relation of brotherhood, and you must solemnly declare before many witnesses your determination to stand for the principles of our fraternity. And you must reflect that the spoken pledge is without any purpose unless your life also exemplifies your words. Therefore, consider carefully that you may approach not unadvisedly to your initiation. The vows, once taken, are irrevocable. If you are not in thorough sympathy with our ideals, if you are at all uncertain in your desire to become a member of this fraternity, you now have a last opportunity to declare yourself. As it is our duty to watch over the welfare of our fraternity, that it may continue in vigorous life, it behooves us from time to time to add to our number such men as will most honor our brotherhood. Upon these who stand before us, our choice has fallen. We are now assembled to receive the pledges of their devotion and to seal their acceptance into our brotherhood, not only to those who are received and to us who receive them, but also to all who may come within the influence of this fraternity. These pledges and this initiation are momentous.
Brothers in Delta Upsilon, you have unanimously elected these men to membership in our fraternity. Before proceeding to their initiation, however, it is fitting that we should examine once more our own hearts. In a brotherhood such as ours, a close and lasting friendship must unite all its members, creating such an intimate and permanent influence as shall mold them into a rounded type of manhood. Our past is secure, and our future depends upon your vigilance. We must jealously guard against any who may disturb the harmony of our fraternal life, against any whose presence may lower our standards or becloud our ideals. Therefore, I now challenge each of the brothers in the name of DU. Does any brother know any reason why any of these candidates should not be received into the fellowship of our fraternity? Your silence makes it your duty to remove from your minds all prejudice or feelings which might hinder the discharge of any brotherly obligation. I therefore charge you so to rule your thought and conduct that in all of your future relations with these men, nothing should mar the trust and brotherly affection which should ever exist between you. Now, as to you who would join our brotherhood this hour, to you gentlemen should be especially solemn. We initiate you into no meaningless secrets, but into a brotherhood founded upon a principle, which it is our duty to exemplify in our lives. Takaya Upatheki, justice our foundation. The relationship of brotherhood is a sacred one. Its ties are noble and have been established as the proper bearing of man toward man. It is therefore the ideal of human relationship, an ideal that we seek to realize in our fraternal life, thereby learning from our fraternity the highest lessons of human duty and opportunity. In this brotherhood, justice is our guiding principle, and as justice is but truth in action, it is our deeds that testify our loyalty to these ideals of our fraternity and our worthiness to conserve the heritage handed down to us by past generations of Delta Upsilons. In 3 centuries now, time has endorsed the enduring value of our principles. In chapters across the United States and Canada, in loyal pursuit of our ideals, we have conserved our heritage and have passed along to our ever-increasing brotherhood the lessons that we strive to teach. In uprightness and nobility, in consideration of others and fair dealing with them, in constant endeavor to promote truth and equity in every relation in which we may be cast. In such ways do the lessons of our fraternity bear their richest fruit. Into such a brother we offer you the opportunity to enter. But in entering, you must pledge undying loyalty to Delta Upsilon and its ideals. It is therefore well that we should pause here to consider those ideas more fully. Brothers and guests, it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker who will deliver the charge to the candidates. I'm proud to introduce Brother Christopher L. Miller. Brother Miller is a 1990 graduate of Miami University. While an undergraduate at Miami, he served in various chapter offices, was elected to the International Fraternity's Undergraduate Advisory Board, and was the first undergraduate in the fraternity's history to be elected to 2 consecutive terms as a member of the Delta Upsilon International Board of Directors. During law school, he served as a live-in resident advisor for the Ohio State chapter of Delta Upsilon. He is also a Miami merger, and both of his children are Miamians, one of them being a candidate for initiation today. He currently serves as the president of the Miami chapter of Delta Upsilon Alumni Corporation. Brother Miller practices telecommunications, utility, and broadband law as a partner with the law firm of Ice Miller in its Columbus office. He also currently serves as the council president for the Simon Kenton Council, Boy Scouts of America, and is a member of the State of Ohio Board of Building Standards.
Thank you, and good afternoon, initiates, brothers, and guests. In the charge, I'm going to first read to you the traditional charge of our chapter, the charge that was written and delivered by Dr. Frank Lowry Clark, a DU from Amherst, graduating in 1894. In 1908, the year that the Miami chapter was reestablished, he came to Miami as a professor of Greek and stayed. He served as our faculty advisor for the chapter until he resigned from Miami in 1942. Here is his charge. Candidates for initiation, you have arrived at one of the most significant moments in your whole lives, namely the time of your entrance into full participation into the membership of one of the oldest American college fraternities. Let us pause and think what membership in Delta Upsilon really means. It means that you are of the chosen few before whom has been set a prize of highest privilege and greatest responsibility. You were favored above the great mass of students when you passed from the grades into high school. You were still further distinguished when you became one of that very small minority who went on into college. And now you still are further marked out by being of that carefully and critically selected group who were invited to join college fraternities. And the highest distinction of all, the fraternity to which you are to join is Delta Upsilon. Of Delta Upsilon, you may always speak and think of with pride. She is not a new or untried organization. A long list of distinguished alumni are recorded upon her roll of honor. Leaders in every walk of life are to be found there. It is a glorious fellowship into which you are to enter. The very thought of Delta Upsilon should be a source of inspiration to you as long as you live. Not wealth or fashion or social exclusiveness are her watchwords. She seeks rather truth, true worth of character, and high ideals of both living and scholarship. Free from the shackles of secrecy and social exclusiveness, she has a breadth of appeal denied to many other fraternities and can, in the truest sense, Make justice to all her foundation. The Miami chapter to which you are being admitted today is one of a larger body of the fraternity as a whole, but it is the unit which most vitally concerns you. It is your home. These men are your brothers in a very real sense and will share your joys and triumphs. And to them you return for comfort in times of failure or disappointment. It is a fellowship at the same time sacred and joyous and full of fun. It will be largely what you yourselves make of it. Fill it with the things that you can look back upon with satisfaction in the years to come. Give your best to Delta Upsilon, and she will reward you by leading you on to increased power and to a finer, larger vision of what true manhood really means. Not for the few years of college only, but for life are you to be members of Delta Upsilon. Only the passing years can reveal to you the full meaning of this brotherhood of Delta Upsilon. Always, everywhere, henceforth, you and we, and all Delta U's are in very truth to be brothers. In addition, I wanted to reflect on several important things that I think you all should be aware of and know and understand, and then I want to leave you with 7 quick charges. This brotherhood, as Dr. Clark suggested, is a brotherhood for life. It will change and impact your life as you allow it. And it will weave itself as a thread through your life and the fabric of your life in ways that become very meaningful and real. In my example, Delta Upsilon has changed my life in innumerable ways. My service on the Delta Upsilon International Board of Directors as an undergraduate gave me the privilege and the opportunity to travel the country, meet DUs from other chapters, and be a voting member on a multi-million-dollar corporate board. It taught me valuable lessons which I use today in my service and other boards in which I continue to provide service for. It introduced me to my wife at a Delta Upsilon Phi Mu boxer lingerie and toga, or BLT party as we know it. Brother Marcello, who's on the call today, if he hadn't said to this young lady, "Have you met the other CM, the other Chris?" I perhaps would never have met my wife and had my children, and you perhaps would be short one initiate member in your pledge class. My first job with Delta, or my first job outside of college, came through Delta Upsilon. When I served on the board, the scout executive for Brooklyn was on the board, and he said to me, because I wanted to take a year off before law school and serve with the Boy Scouts as the district executive, come work for me in Brooklyn. I run the Brooklyn operation. You can come to New York. Frankly, when I found out how much he wanted to pay, I realized I couldn't live very well in Brooklyn. So he made a phone call and set me up with an opportunity in Indianapolis, where the scout executive there immediately hired me upon meeting me and the recommendation of our brother, Steve Gerber, Northern Illinois, class of 1968. My years in law school, I served as the resident advisor of the Delta Upsilon chapter at Ohio State. It paid a small stipend and provided me room and board and allowed me to continue my service with the fraternity. It saved me immense amounts of resources in regards to my furthering my education and becoming a lawyer. I was also able to become close to members of the Ohio State chapter, and it diversified and expanded my friendships in the fraternity. My service in the Miami Alumni Chapter Board has allowed me to meet brothers from this chapter who I would have not otherwise have known as an undergraduate, and I would perhaps not ever have met as a member of our fraternity. I have come to rely on those individuals who I serve on the board with, not only to perform the service that we provide to the chapter, but as my friends, as my brothers, and as my confidants. Their counsel and their experiences and their help has been immeasurable in my life. And it still happens day to day in my life. In the last 2 nights alone, I've had dinners at the invitation of, in one case, an Ohio State brother and his wife, and I had dinner last night with one of my pledge brothers, Dave Garrison, who also serves on the board, who is traveling through town. These are lifelong friendships. These are things that will change your life. These are opportunities in business, and these are opportunities to perhaps meet your significant other, and also, in my case, as an example, to form family traditions, with Ben being in your class. There are 7 quick challenges I'd like to leave you with. Take our principles to heart and live them every day. You know what they are, but they bear repeating. The advancement of friendship, or the promotion of friendship, the advancement of character, the diffusion of liberal culture, and the advancement of justice. Rely on your brothers and let them rely upon you always. While on campus, live the following motto: a DU in everything and every DU in something. Following graduation, work diligently to keep your relationships with your fellow brothers. Remember, always remember that your older brothers like me are here to help you. Reach out to us for our wisdom, our counsel, and our mentorship. Treat every day of the rest of your life like it's formal rush. I know that sounds odd, but I will tell you that you will, when you graduate and move on to the business world, you'll learn that the skills that you picked up in rush will serve you well, not only while you're on campus, but also in the business world and as you progress socially as an adult. And finally, and most importantly, leave the Miami chapter a better place than you found it. If when you graduate, you look at the senior and you're a senior and you look at the class of incoming freshmen who are initiating into our fraternity, and you have to say to yourself, I really wonder if I'm the caliber of man who would have made it into the fraternity in a class like that, then you've done your job. I wish all of you every success in our fraternity and in life, and will forever be prepared to personally extend to each of you the right hand of brotherhood. Brother Examiner, I have charged the candidates and now remit them back into your capable hands.
Thank you, Brother Miller. Brother Master, I present to you these candidates present to be admitted to fellowship in the Delta Upsilon fraternity. They have made the preliminary declarations and, having learned the nature of the pledges, are prepared to take them.
The pledges I now propose to you, you must take upon your word of honor to hold them sacred and inviolable forever. Since we're on Zoom and it would not sound good to have all of the associate members repeat after me in unison, for the oath, our associate member class president, Josh Smith, will be the only one to take the oath with his mic on. The rest of the associate members should still repeat after me, just with your microphone off. At this time, each associate member should repeat after me. Josh, you can unmute yourself. Starting by saying I and then your full name.
I, Josh Smith,
Of my own free will and accord.
of my own free will and accord,
In the presence of these witnesses.
in the presence of these witnesses,
Do hereby solemnly declare.
do hereby solemnly declare
That the principles of this fraternity.
that the principles of this fraternity,
As they have been explained to me.
as have been explained to me,
Accord entirely with my own views.
accord entirely with my own views.
And I solemnly promise.
And I solemnly promise
That as a member of this fraternity.
that as a member of this fraternity,
I will faithfully adhere to those principles.
I will faithfully adhere to these principles,
Endeavoring in every way to perfect myself.
endeavoring in every way to perfect myself,
Morally, intellectually, and socially.
morally, intellectually, and socially,
And endeavoring also to act toward others.
and endeavoring also to act towards others
According to that high standard of conduct.
according to that high standard of conduct
Required by the fraternity.
required by the fraternity.
I solemnly promise that I will be loyal.
I solemnly promise I will be loyal
To the Delta Upsilon fraternity.
to the Delta Upsilon fraternity
And to this chapter.
and to this chapter,
Abiding by their rules.
abiding by the rules,
Discharging my obligations to them faithfully.
discharging my obligations to them faithfully,
And using all honorable means.
and using all honorable means
To promote their interests.
to promote their interests.
I solemnly promise that I will share with my brothers.
I will solemnly promise I will share with my brothers
The duties of my chapter.
the duties of my chapter,
That I will uphold and encourage them.
that I'll uphold and encourage them
In all that is honorable and right.
in all that is honorable and right,
That I will ever extend to each brother.
that I will ever extend to each brother
The right hand of sympathy.
the right hand of sympathy,
And that at all times and in all circumstances.
and that in all times and in all circumstances,
I will endeavor to cultivate those sentiments.
I will endeavor to cultivate those sentiments
Which should ever exist between brothers.
which should ever exist between brothers.
All this I solemnly promise upon my honor.
All this I solemnly promise upon my honor,
Without any equivocation.
without any equivocation,
Mental reservation.
mental reservation,
Or secret evasion of mind whatsoever.
secret evasion of mind whatsoever.
Thank you, Josh. You can unmute your mic, or you can mute your mic now. All right. Brothers, we are all witnesses to these pledges. Initiates of Delta Upsilon, you have this day received a distinction which is granted to few men, decoration with the insignia of our fraternity. It marks the confidence which we repose to you. May the ties which it symbolizes strengthen perpetually, and may its possession instill you the spirit of undying loyalty to Delta Upsilon. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I now declare you members of the Delta Upsilon fraternity. To all brothers in Delta Upsilon, as these men have now become your brothers, it is your part and duty to aid them in their struggle toward a larger life, to recall to their minds what solemn pledges they have just now taken before this company, to instruct, reprove, and admonish them with all kindness according to the principles of our fraternity and the truth that is in you, and to share with them the benefits and duties of life together. And as for our initiates who have been newly received into our fraternal circle, it is your part and duty to bear in mind that you are now one with us in principle and purpose. You are to share with us the privileges and divide with us the responsibilities of faithful service in Delta Upsilon. May your zeal in its cause never flag. May your sympathy with its interests ever grow deeper. May our mutual regard increase as time shall heighten our appreciation of the noble sentiments which have made us one. May justice, culture, and morality be the motives of your lives, as they have been the motives of our union. May the bonds forged today unite us forever in sturdy resolve to attain that goal of true manhood, aspiration toward which is the sign and seal of our fraternity. This concludes the rite of initiation. With great pride, I now present our newest brothers in Delta Upsilon. Andrew, we can't hear this.
That's all right.
All right, yeah. Thank you all for coming. Do any of the alumni want to say anything?
Yeah, this is Brother Miller. Congratulations to everyone. We couldn't be happier or prouder of all of you, both the new initiates who are now our brothers and the brothers who received them, selected them, and are now going to provide, I'm sure, every opportunity in the world to make sure that they help them succeed on campus. Congratulations to everyone. We're so proud, so happy, and do your best to always remember that your DU men, and most importantly, Miami DU men, represent us well on campus and let us know what we need to do for you to make your lives more fulfilling. So thanks everybody and congratulations.